The history of The Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power, The Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power is an ambitious television series that explores the expansive universe created by J.R.R. Tolkien. As a prequel to the beloved Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies, the series delves into the rich history of Middle-earth, focusing on events thousands of years before the epic journeys of Frodo Baggins and Bilbo Baggins. This show represents one of the most significant and costly endeavors in the history of television, offering a deep dive into the Second Age of Middle-earth. To fully understand the magnitude of the Rings of Power, it is essential to explore the background of Tolkien's works, the journey to adapt them into a series, and the eventual realization of this monumental project. J.R.R. Tolkien and the World of Middle-earth. J.R.R. Tolkien, an English writer, professor, and philologist, is best known for his works The Hobbit, 1937, and The Lord of the Rings, 1954 to 1955. However, these stories are merely fragments of a much larger and more complex mythology that Tolkien spent decades developing. Tolkien's World of Middle-earth, a richly imagined fantasy universe, is the setting for numerous tales of heroism, tragedy, and epic battles between good and evil. Tolkien's creation of Middle-earth was deeply influenced by his academic background in languages and mythology. He was particularly inspired by Norse and Anglo-Saxon myths, as well as his experiences in World War I. Over the years, Tolkien wrote extensive histories, languages, and genealogies to give depth to his fictional world. The most significant of these works is The Silmarillion, a collection of stories that detail the creation of the world and the history of the First and Second Ages of Middle-earth. The Silmarillion introduces the concept of the three ages of Middle-earth. The First Age is marked by the creation of the world and the struggle against the Dark Lord Morgoth. The Second Age, which serves as the primary setting for the Rings of Power, is characterized by the rise of the Kingdom of Numenor, the forging of the Rings of Power, and the eventual downfall of Sauron. The Third Age is the period in which The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings take place. The development of the Rings of Power, the journey to bring the Rings of Power to the screen began long before the series was officially announced. Following the enormous success of Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings film trilogy, 2001 to 2003, and The Hobbit trilogy, 2012 to 2014, there was considerable interest in further exploring Tolkien's world on screen. However, the rights to Tolkien's works were notoriously complex and fragmented, with different aspects of the stories owned by various entities, including the Tolkien estate and Warner Brothers. In 2017, it was announced that Amazon had acquired the global television rights to Tolkien's works for a reported $250 million. This deal marked the beginning of an ambitious project that would become The Rings of Power. Amazon committed to producing a multi-season series with an estimated budget of $1 billion, making it one of the most expensive television series ever produced. The high stakes and significant investment underscored Amazon's commitment to creating a show that would capture the essence of Tolkien's world and resonate with a global audience. Setting and storyline: The Rings of Power is set during the Second Age of Middle-earth, a period that spans thousands of years. This era is pivotal in Tolkien's mythology, as it lays the foundation for the events that unfold in The Lord of the Rings. The Second Age begins after the defeat of Morgoth, the first Dark Lord, and the rise of his lieutenant, Sauron, who would eventually become the primary antagonist in the Third Age. One of the central themes of the Second Age is the forging of the Rings of Power, a group of magical rings created by the elven smith Celebrimbor under the guidance of Sauron, who was disguised as a benevolent figure named Annatar. These rings were distributed among the various races of Middle-earth, 3 to the elves, 7 to the dwarves, and 9 to men. Unbeknownst to the other races, Sauron secretly forged the One Ring, a powerful artifact that would allow him to control the other rings and dominate Middle-earth. The Rings of Power explores the complex political, social, and cultural dynamics of Middle-earth during this era. The show delves into the rise and fall of Numenor, a powerful island kingdom of men that plays a significant role in the Second Age. Numenor's relationship with the elves, its internal struggles, and its eventual downfall due to Sauron's influence are key elements of the series. In addition to Numenor, the show also focuses on the elves, particularly the characters of Galadriel and Elrond, who play crucial roles in the history of Middle-earth. Galadriel, one of the most powerful elves, is portrayed as a warrior and leader who is determined to combat the growing threat of Sauron. Elrond, a half-elven character with deep connections to both the elves and men, is depicted as a politician and diplomat who must navigate the complex alliances of the Second Age. The dwarves, particularly those of the kingdom of Khazad-dûm, later known as Moria, also play a significant role in the series. Khazad-dûm is depicted at the height of its power, a stark contrast to the ruins seen in The Lord of the Rings. The show explores the dwarves' interactions with the elves and their involvement in the creation of the Rings of Power. Casting and production. One of the most challenging aspects of creating the Rings of Power was assembling a diverse and talented cast to bring Tolkien's characters to life. The show's creators sought actors who could embody the complexity and depth of Tolkien's characters while also appealing to a modern audience. The casting process was extensive, with actors from around the world auditioning for various roles. Notable cast members include Morfydd Clark as Galadriel, Robert Aramayo as Elrond, and Owain Arthur as Durin IV, the Prince of Khazad-dûm. The cast also features actors from a variety of backgrounds, reflecting the show's commitment to diversity and representation. The production of The Rings of Power was a monumental undertaking, with filming taking place in New Zealand, the same location used for Peter Jackson's film trilogies. The show's creators aimed to capture the grandeur and beauty of Middle-earth, utilizing the stunning landscapes of New Zealand as the backdrop for the series. In addition to the practical locations, the production team also employed cutting-edge visual effects to create the fantastical elements of Tolkien's world. The series features a mix of practical effects, CGI, and motion capture technology to bring to life the various creatures, landscapes, and battles of Middle-earth. The show's creators also placed a strong emphasis on authenticity, striving to stay true to Tolkien's vision while also making the series accessible to new viewers. This balance was achieved through meticulous attention to detail in costume design, set construction, and world building. The goal was to create a series that would resonate with both longtime fans of Tolkien's works and those new to the world of Middle-earth. Reception and impact. The Rings of Power premiered on Amazon Prime Video in September 2022, and it quickly became one of the most talked about television series of the year. The show received praise for its production values, visual effects, and performances, particularly those of Morfydd Clark as Galadriel and Robert Aramayo as Elrond. Critics also lauded the series for its ambitious storytelling and its exploration of the deeper themes of Tolkien's mythology. However, The Rings of Power was not without its controversies. Some fans of Tolkien's works expressed concerns about the show's departures from the source material, particularly in terms of characterizations and plotlines. There were also debates about the show's pacing and the decision to condense thousands of years of history into a more streamlined narrative. Despite these criticisms, The Rings of Power had a significant cultural impact, drawing in millions of viewers worldwide and sparking renewed interest in Tolkien's works. The series also demonstrated the potential for high-quality fantasy television, setting a new standard for production values and storytelling in the genre. In addition to its cultural impact, The Rings of Power also had a considerable economic impact. The show's success helped to solidify Amazon Prime Video's position as a major player in the streaming market, and it contributed to the ongoing trend of adapting beloved literary works for television. The series also provided a boost to the tourism industry in New Zealand, as fans of the show sought to visit the real-world locations used in the production. Future prospects. With the success of its first season, The Rings of Power is poised to continue exploring the rich history of Middle-earth in future seasons. The show's creators have indicated that they have a multi-season plan in place, with the goal of telling a cohesive and epic story that spans the entirety of the Second Age. As the series progresses, it is expected to delve deeper into the key events of the Second Age, including the rise of Sauron, the forging of the One Ring, and the eventual downfall of Numenor. The show may also explore the early history of other iconic locations in Middle-earth, such as Rivendell, Gondor, and Mordor. The Rings of Power also has the potential to introduce new characters and storylines that were not explicitly detailed in Tolkien's works, providing fresh perspectives on the familiar world of Middle-earth. This approach could help to keep the series engaging and relevant to modern audiences while also